Hey guys, Troy here, back with another video today. Today we have a fun one, kind of like a trending topic, something people have actually been talking a lot about, to my surprise, in YouTube, at the Dallas Card Show, all over the place in the hobby, Formula One cards. And today I'm going to be answering the question, should you buy Formula One cards? I don't claim to be an expert by any means, but I'm definitely a fan of Formula One. I feel like I know a good amount about the sport, and I know something as well about sports cards. Once again, not an expert, but I thought it might be helpful for you guys who are considering getting in to look at the reasons for buying, why it may be a good idea, but also the reasons why it may not be. So with that being said, no more waste of time, let's get into it. Now the first reason why I think it might be good to buy these cards is because the set that everyone's talking about, right, at least for the most part, Formula One Topps Chrome 2020. These are their first real cards and basically their only investable cards in my opinion. 2020 was the first year that Formula One cards have been released in a long while, and the only two other products to come out this year were Topps Now and Topps Dynasty. Topps Dynasty is high-end RPAs, so I'm sure there will be some people investing in those, but those are kind of a separate segment of the market. I don't think many people are going to be, moving in and out of those that quickly. And the Topps Now cards, which once again, some people might be trading and buying those, but it's never going to be as big of a thing as Topps Chrome. I know there were cards from like the 90s and before, I'm sure, and I think even Lewis Hamilton has a couple other weird sets and things that have come out, but just for the sake of this video, we're kind of going to ignore those because, like, let's take someone like Max Verstappen, a hot young prospect. If you wanted to invest in him, it's basically his Topps Chrome card or nothing. And purely from an investor's standpoint, that's actually a really good thing. Take Max Verstappen versus LaMelo Ball, if you believe in LaMelo Ball. I mean, how many thousands, literally thousands, I think, of different cards are there available out there for you to buy for LaMelo Ball? That's not actually a good thing. If you've been in sports cards at all, you've heard plenty about junk wax era. Usually when there's a bunch of different things, it's usually not a good sign. But with Formula One, it's basically just Topps Chrome. It's going to be relatively low pop. So if down the line there continues to be interest in someone like Max Verstappen, if he wins some championships or does these different things, there's really going to be one main card to go for, and that's Topps Chrome Formula One from this year. Which leads me into reason number two. Predicting out, right? I've said for a long time, I think that's a huge part of the sports card market right now. People are betting. You see it now with the NBA playoffs. People might buy up a ton of cards of a young star like Devin Booker on the Suns in hopes that they do well. And in general, if that player surpasses expectations or achieves something great, his card prices will go up. So it's really a form of betting, buying these cards. And you can use that to your advantage. But also more importantly than that, I just think in general, it kind of raises prices no matter what, because people are treating these cards kind of as like chips for good and for bad, and betting on these players by buying their cards. Now, what have people been betting on for basically as long as time? Races. And it's tougher in basketball, right? Devin Booker, are they going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals? How much of that do we give to CP3 versus him? Did he do this? Okay, they made it to this spot, but he averaged 25 points per game. It's more complicated. That's why I think, like I said, people like betting on races. And that's another reason why I think there'll be a ton of desirability to Formula One cards. Reason number three is kind of piggyback off of this, but the swings are going to be huge. In Formula One, we have what we already talked about, race wins. Just something like that out of nowhere. We had a guy last year, Pierre Gasly, win a race out of nowhere where no one expected him to. I was just thinking, I can only imagine if they had his rookie cards back then, what they would have done after that race. Also big in Formula One are seat changes. So there's only 10 teams and there's only 2 drivers per each team. So people moving out of Formula One, someone going from, for instance, there could be very talented drivers who are on not a very good team. And if they move to a good team, like if a seat just opens up, their stock could just go through the roof. Their hypothetical stock that now, could be in the form of sports cards. Let's take, for instance, a guy I've actually invested in, George Russell. He's a young driver for a team called Williams, which is kind of like Mercedes' B team, which is who Lewis Hamilton drives for. He's a very talented driver, but he doesn't have a very good car, so he hasn't had many results. But if he moves to Mercedes, he might start winning some races, winning some championships, and then people might become very, very interested in his rookie cards, which I feel I was able to pick up at a relatively cheap price. They call Formula One, it's like one big soap opera. There's excitement, there's energy, things change very quickly, wild swings. And all that I think can contribute to a very exciting sports card market where people once again are investing in these type of guys and really getting invested in, okay, is this guy going to move to this team? Is his partner moving over here? Is he going to make it to Ferrari one day? Is he going to make it to Mercedes one day? All that is going to contribute to what I think down the road is going to be a really exciting and cool sports card market for Formula One cards. But first, before we get into the reasons of maybe why you should consider not getting into Formula One cards, we have a message from the sponsor of today's video, and that is Otis. Otis is the stock market for culture. It's a fractional investing app where they have rare collectibles, everything from sneakers to jerseys to what we probably know a lot about on this channel, sports cards. And they have 3 upcoming drops that I thought were pretty cool. The first one would be Kevin Durant. They actually have his game-worn jersey from the Warriors when he was in the semifinals. So really cool, especially as a big Warriors fan. Definitely want to check that one out. Next one would be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, his Bumblebee rookie. Pretty rare card, iconic, really been gaining a lot of steam lately. A lot of people talking about it. I think this is like a culturally really significant card, so I definitely want to check that out. And last but not least, Tiger Woods rookie auto. Really nice card here. Definitely one I've been looking at, been on my watch list. So, today we're kind of talking about alternative sports. Thought it'd be cool to feature one of the biggest cards, outside of basketball, football, soccer, probably in history. And we have a very special offer for you guys today from Otis. When you fund your account using my link in the description, you're actually gonna get your first share free. So definitely make sure to check that out. It'll be a good way for you guys to get started over there. Okay, but now for the reasons against it. I talked about some of the reasons why I think it may be good. What about the reasons why it wouldn't? And reason number 1, and really this may be the only reason you need, you do not know anything about Formula One. Yes, I'm talking to you behind the camera, looking up this video. You don't know anything. You don't know the strategy, you don't know the players, you don't enjoy it, you're not gonna watch it, and you don't understand it. Now, I'm sure someone's already ready to comment, talking about, oh no, I do know it. Yes, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are watching this who actually do like Formula One. And if you do, sure, by all means, go ahead. That's another point onto why you maybe should consider it. But for you guys who don't, I've talked about this a lot, and this is my opinion, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, soccer, Formula One, if you don't understand it, I personally don't think you should be investing in it. And at the very least, you should take that into account as a negative for why you should at least consider maybe staying away from this particular segment of the sports card market. In general, I never think investing blind is a good idea. And I think this is going to be more common than ever. At least with baseball or football, you might understand it a little bit or know the players' names, even if you're not a frequent watcher. But I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be looking to buy Formula One Topps Chrome cards and know absolutely zero nilch about the sport. Reason number 2 is because the premium being placed on these cards right now is actually relatively high. Let's take, for instance, Lewis Hamilton Topps Chrome Refractor from this year in a PSA 9. Is going for $1,300. That's a lot, especially for PSA 9. I understand PSA is shut down. Lewis Hamilton, arguably the GOAT of the sport, or at least like one of the best drivers of all time. And I can't put it into an exact words because the relation, like it's just different. It's different, right? I can't say Patrick Mahomes is this much, so F1 cards should be this much. You're just gonna kind of have to take my word for it. This is not like a secret underground market that no one knows about and no one is talking about. People know about it, and the prices certainly reflect that already. Which leads me to the last reason, the big reason why you maybe should consider holding off is history tends to repeat itself, especially in the sports card market. Back in like February, there was huge amounts of buzz around alternative sports, tennis, swimming, Olympics, boxing, wrestling. And I'm sure you can give me examples of stuff from those alternative sports that have done great and have continued and will be great long-term investments, but a lot of them turned out not to be. Let's take, for instance, Serena Williams. Once again, another GOAT. Tennis has plenty of fans. People are fans of this sport. Her Net Pro rookie PSA 10 went for $14,000. And there still has been debate. It's just hard for me to even imagine that this is a real sale, but I definitely did see sales at the very least in like the $4,000 or $5,000 range. And now that same card is going for $300. I mean, that's insane. Like that's, life changing. in a negative way, that happening to you. So is that me saying the same thing will happen to Formula One Topps Chrome cards? A fall like that, I can say almost definitely not, but it's just something to be aware of, that just because something is an alternative sport and it's a GOAT and it has interest, it's at a high price, doesn't mean it can't come back down. I think as much as we talk bad about basketball and these type of sports, they have a lot of fans and a long history of people, at least to an extent, supporting those prices, and there's always going to be that strong collector base, in my opinion, at least, to hold up some sort of floor. You haven't seen that historically in alternative sports, so it's always a risk I think you have to take into account. But alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and we're going to keep the videos coming. Thanks again.